this is really embarrassing because our president, Donald Trump, went to Twitter to deliver a really, really embarrassing contradiction that shows a lack of knowledge of basic civics or basic government and, concepts, which is pretty insane. So here's what The Hill says. They say, President Trump on Sunday called for immigrants who illegally enter the U.S. to be sent, quote, back from where they came without going through the judicial process in deportation cases. So I'm going to read you guys his direct tweet. This is what he tweeted. He said, quote, when somebody comes in, we must immediately, with no judges or court cases, bring them back from where they came. Our system is a mockery to good immigration policy and law and order. So our president, Donald Trump, just went to Twitter to voice his opinion that our immigration policy is a mockery to law and order because we give due process to people on the soil of the United States. That is one of the most embarrassing contradictions of basic governmental concepts that I've ever seen in my entire life. Law and order means granting due process. And the Fifth Amendment states no person. It doesn't say no American citizen. So anybody on this soil. That's why we have Gitmo, which we shouldn't have Gitmo. But that's the reasoning of why they have it. So you have to grant due process. Let me tell you this, okay? To any democracy or to any truly legitimate government that really is under check and is legitimate and actually for the people and is, there's ample accountability and checks on and justice. There is, as best of an attempt and an effort to have justice as possible is due process, okay? Due process is one of the, if not the most valuable things to a legitimate government and judicial system and a justice system, because you need to have court cases, you need to have stuff put in front of a judge. You need that for a system to function, for a governmental system to function correctly, for it to have the best outcomes, for it to have the best results. And the fact, so there's multiple fronts here, of course. So one of the fronts here being that he contradicted himself by saying that we're a mockery to law and order by simultaneously voicing his opinion in opposition to law and order. But why would you not give due process? I don't understand that. You should want to give due process. Our system should be generous in its due process. Not in that we give leniency to certain people during due process. We should give due process because due process, if used correctly, will succeed. Okay? And that's what we have. And so we should be to a certain extent, of course. But the system always makes mistakes. But we need to grant due process because without it, our system is very flawed, and we're not giving people the correct, chance to prove their innocence of any sort. And now, there have already been Supreme Court cases that have established that yes, anybody on the soil is, due process extends to them. And the idea of due process not extending to them is pretty fucking scary, and it's a really, really dangerous and bad policy because it sets very shitty precedents, and it is nothing that a democracy should be whatsoever associated with at fucking all.